How do you go to the toilet? There is a technique, funnily enough, that I'm going to teach you right now, and you are going to become a toilet ninja. So, it's important that we don't use too much pressure to go to the toilet for number 2, because when we do, we're going to stretch those pelvic floor muscles. If you are training to try and become more continent, so you're having bladder leakage, then going to the toilet every now and then and really straining and pressing down is just going to undo to some extent, undo all the good work that you've been doing trying to train it. But also it puts you more at risk of increasing prolapse symptoms, stretching the prolapse further over a long period of time. It's not going to be one constipation episode which causes your prolapse to significantly stretch. It's over a period of time. But it is the biggest risk factor. So, you know, childbirth and constipation are the biggest risk factors for developing prolapse. We don't want that. If you're a gentleman, it's also really important that you don't strain, because men get much more hemorrhoids from straining. So hemorrhoids are the result of too much pressure downstairs into the blood vessels, which then bag out and then get itchy and sore and really tender and can bleed. So we need to keep pressure low when we're defecating, when we're going to the toilet for number 2. So what you're going to do is first of all think about that abdominal piston, yeah? So as we breathe in, our diaphragm goes down and our pelvic floor then reciprocally goes down. Our abdomen should come open. That is the same as pushing on the top of a balloon. The bottom of the balloon and the side of the balloon would come out. That's what our abdomen is really. It's a piston that works with breathing. Okay, our deep core is a piston to do with breathing. We're going to use that to be able to defecate with. What most people do is they hold their breath, they squeeze their abdomen, and then they force the poo out by pushing down. So they do a kind of motion, which is really not helpful, because you can see we're going to create pressure on the balloon, and we're going to force everything out down below. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to get your knees up onto a box or a stool or 2 toilet rolls, something where you can get your knees higher than being straight sitting on the toilet. If you've had a hip replacement in the last 6 to 12 weeks, you've got to be a little bit careful with that, but as long as you're gentle, it should be all right, and slow to move. Unless you've been given specific precautions not to, then avoid it. But in general, we need to get our knees higher than our hips to relax off our anorectal angle. So that little bit of the stool, of the back passage that allows stool to pass down, is a little bit more tight when we're in a 90-degree angle with our legs. So you're going to get your legs up onto something and lean forwards. Feet have got to be flat, up on your toes, totally cheating, okay? You're still stabilising your pelvic floor if you're up on your toes. Feet flat down, you're going to lean forward, and then you can put your hands onto your elbows onto your knees if you want to, and then you're going to breathe your stool out. So the first bit is to make sure that the stool is ready to go. So when you feel that it's there, you're allowed to do 1 or 2 little inch or move to try and get it moving, but only very brief, so a little squeeze. When it's at your sphincter and you can feel that it wants to come out, and you know in your mind if you just squeezed hard it would come out, then you've got to start breathing. And we're going to use that diaphragmatic breath. So thinking about breathing in and not breathing in up here. So if you can see my tummy, we're not going to take a breath here, we're going to take a breath here. So as I breathe in, my tummy expands, okay? So if you haven't just done this, practice it. 1 hand on the top, 1 hand on your tummy, and practicing breathing with a soft, open mouth. If you breathe like this, you're not going to be able to create that diaphragmatic movement that you want. Soften your mouth. And it's the process of, as you breathe in, your tummy being pushed out, which is what we call a brace and a bulge. You can, if you want to, push out your tummy, but you shouldn't push down into your back passage to have a poo. So you've got there, you feel like you need a poo, your knees are up, you're breathing, and basically it's the same as when we say slow down when you're having a baby to try and reduce the pressure. You're breathing your stool out. If you find that it doesn't come out, either it's not ready to, or it's too hard to come out, and then you need to look at your stool quality. But it's really important, if you learn how to poo properly now, and tell everyone you know, secret conversations at the pub, Tell everyone you know how to poo properly, then we're going to have much less hemorrhoids, prolapses and incontinence in our population. Okay, go have a good poo.